There is a moment in later life that doesn't announce itself. It doesn't arrive with conflict or dramatic words. It shows up quietly, in the way people stop asking your opinion on things they once couldn't decide without you. And if you pay close attention, you'll notice it's not what they say, it's what they no longer say. If this feels familiar in any small way, stay with this reflection. Sometimes, what we sense but cannot name becomes clearer when someone else puts it into words. There was a time when your presence carried weight in every room you entered. Decisions paused until you spoke. Conversations bent slightly in your direction, not out of obligation, but because you had earned that place over years, through effort, through sacrifice, through showing up when it mattered. And yet something begins to shift. Not all at once, never all at once. It begins with small things. You notice that plans are made, and you're informed afterward, not included before. It's subtle, almost polite. We didn't want to bother you, or we figured you would be tired. It sounds considerate, thoughtful even, but underneath there is a quiet repositioning. You are no longer central to the decision. You are being accommodated, not consulted. Then there are conversations that happen just slightly out of reach. You're in the same room, but the tone changes when you approach. Not in a suspicious way, just in a way that suggests the conversation doesn't quite belong to you anymore. At first, you tell yourself this is natural. People grow. Children become adults. Life moves forward. And all of that is true. But there's another layer to it. You begin to notice that when problems arise, they are handled without you. There was a time when your phone would ring first. Now, you hear about things after they have already been resolved. Not because they don't trust you, but because they've learned to function without needing you in the same way. And that realization carries a quiet weight. If you've ever felt this shift, this gentle stepping away that no one explicitly discusses, take a moment to sit with that feeling. Because recognizing it doesn't make you weak. It makes you aware. There's also the way your advice is received. People still listen. They nod. They say that makes sense. But fewer people follow through, not out of disrespect, but because their world is now shaped by different pressures, different timelines, different priorities. Your experience is still valuable, but it's no longer the guiding force it once was. And that can feel confusing, because nothing is openly wrong. No one has rejected you. No one has pushed you away. There's no conflict to point to, no argument to resolve. Just a gradual loosening of the invisible threads that once held everything tightly together. You might also notice how invitations change. You're still included, but with options. Only if you feel up to it. No pressure. We know you might prefer to rest. These words are kind and gentle, but they carry an unspoken assumption that your world has become smaller. And perhaps, in some ways, it has. But not always by choice. There are moments when you begin to hesitate before offering your thoughts. Not because you don't have anything to say, but because you're no longer sure if it's needed. That hesitation is new, and it doesn't come from a lack of confidence. It comes from sensing that the role you once played has quietly changed. You also begin to see how quickly people adapt to your absence. If you don't attend something, it continues without disruption. If you don't call, the silence stretches longer than it used to. Not out of neglect, but out of adjustment. Life has reorganized itself around a new center, and you are no longer at the middle of it. If this realization brings up a memory, perhaps a time when you were the one everyone relied on, when your presence shaped the rhythm of a household or a group, pause there for a moment. Feel the difference between then and now, not to create sadness, but to understand the depth of what has changed. Because that contrast holds an important truth. The shift you're experiencing is not about losing value. It's about a change in function. For decades, your identity may have been tied to being needed, providing, guiding, solving, supporting. And over time, that role becomes so integrated into who you are that when it begins to fade, it can feel like something essential is being taken away. But what's actually happening is more complex. The people around you are not stepping away because you matter less. They are stepping into their own lives. And in doing so, they unintentionally create distance. Not emotional distance necessarily, but functional distance. You are no longer the default solution. You are no longer the automatic first call. And while that can feel like a loss, it is also, in a quiet way, evidence that what you built worked. That the people you supported learned to stand on their own. Still, knowing that doesn't always make the feeling easier. Because there is another layer, one that is rarely spoken out loud. It's the question that lingers beneath everything. If I'm no longer needed in the same way, then who am I now? This is where many people begin to struggle. Not externally, but internally. Because identity, especially in later adulthood, is deeply tied to roles that have been lived for decades. Parent, partner, provider, problem solver. The one who holds things together. When those roles shift, even slightly, it can feel like the ground underneath you is less stable. You may find yourself trying to reinsert your presence in small ways. Offering help that isn't asked for. Giving advice more quickly than before. Checking in more often just to feel connected. And sometimes, without meaning to, this can create a quiet tension. Because the more you try to hold on to your previous role, the more others may gently resist. not out of rejection, but out of their own need for independence. And this is where the real emotional work begins, not in trying to return things to how they were, but in learning how to exist within what they are becoming. There is a difference between being needed and being valued. Being needed is often tied to function. It asks, responsibility, solution, and being valued is quieter, less visible, but in many ways more enduring. The challenge is that when you've spent a lifetime being needed, learning to recognize and accept being valued in a different form can take time. It requires a shift in perception. You may no longer be the center of every decision, but your presence still carries meaning. You may not be the first call, but when you are called, it still matters. You may not shape every outcome, but your influence remains, woven into the people and lives you helped build. If you've reached this point in the reflection, you may recognize something deeper. Not just the change itself, but the quiet resilience it asks of you. The ability to remain present without needing to control, to stay connected without needing to be central. And that is not easy. It asks for a different kind of strength, the kind that doesn't come from being indispensable, but from being at peace with not needing to be, because there is a quiet freedom hidden inside this transition. When you are no longer defined by constant responsibility, you are given something that was once rare. Space. Space to choose rather than react. Space to engage rather than manage. Space to rediscover parts of yourself that existed before you became everything for everyone else. But that space can feel unfamiliar at first, even uncomfortable, because it doesn't come with clear expectations. And so many people fill it quickly, returning to old patterns, stepping back into roles that no longer fit, simply because they are known. But what if this stage of life is not about returning? What if it's about redefining? Not who you were, but who you are now without the weight of constant necessity. This is where dignity takes on a new meaning, not as something you maintain through control or authority, but as something you carry through quiet self-respect, through knowing when to step in and when to step back, through offering without insisting, through staying connected without losing yourself in the need to be central, and perhaps most importantly, through understanding that being less needed does not mean being less loved. Those two things often drift apart over time, and recognizing that difference can change everything. As you move forward, you may still notice those moments, the ones where you feel slightly outside of things that once revolved around you. That may not disappear entirely, but your relationship to it can change. Instead of asking, why am I not included the same way? You might begin to ask, where do I now choose to place my presence? Because this stage of life is not an ending, it is a repositioning. And within that repositioning, there is room for something quieter, but no less meaningful. A way of being that is not defined by how much you are needed, but by how deeply you understand yourself. Growth logic. Thanks to you for listening and being part of this reflection. And if there is one thing to carry with you after this moment, let it be this: you are not becoming less. You are becoming different. And that difference, though subtle, holds its own kind of quiet power.